Okay, so I'm going to read tonight from I Am That by Nisargadatta. This is chapter 69, and it's page 329. Okay. Nisargadatta says to the questioner, "Shall I ask you, what is the purpose of your moving from place to place?" And he says, the questioner says, "To meet people, to try and understand them." What people are you trying to understand? What exactly are you after? Integration. If you want integration, you must know whom you want to integrate. Questioner. By meeting people and watching them, one comes to know oneself also. It goes together. Nisargadatta. It does not necessarily go together. Questioner. Well, one improves the other. It doesn't work that way. The mirror reflects the image, but the image does not improve the mirror. You are neither the mirror nor the image in the mirror. Having perfected the mirror so that it reflects correctly, truly, you can turn the mirror around and see in it a true reflection of yourself. True as far as the mirror can reflect. But the reflection is not yourself. You are the seer of the reflection. Do understand it clearly. Whatever you may perceive, you are not what you perceive. Questioner, I am the mirror and the world is the image. You can see both the image and the mirror. You are neither. Who are you? Don't go by formulas. The answer is not in words. The nearest you can say in words is, I am what makes perception possible. The life beyond the experiencer and his experience. Now, can you separate yourself both from the mirror and the image in the mirror and stand completely alone, all by yourself? No, I cannot. How do you know you cannot? There are so many things you are doing without knowing how to do it. You digest, you circulate your blood and lymph, you move your muscles, all without knowing how. In the same way, you perceive, you feel, you think without knowing the why and the how of it. Similarly, you are yourself without knowing it. There is nothing wrong with you as the self, capital S, the self, the absolute. It is what it is to perfection. It is the mirror that is not clear and true, and therefore gives you false images. Now, by the mirror, he means the mind. You need not correct yourself. Only set right your ideas of yourself. Learn to separate yourself from the image and the mirror, right? The image is the image we have of ourselves, and the mirror is the mind. Keep on remembering, I am neither the mind nor its ideas. Do it patiently and with conviction, and you will surely come to the direct vision of yourself as the source of all being, knowing, loving, eternal, all-embracing, all-pervading. You are the infinite, focused in a body. Now you see the body only. Try earnestly, and you will come to see the infinite only. The experience of reality, when it comes, does it last? All experience is necessarily transient, but the ground of all experience is immovable. Nothing that may be called an event will last. But some events purify the mind, and some stain it. Moments of deep insight and all-embracing love purify the mind, while desires and fears, envies and anger, blind beliefs and intellectual arrogance pollute and dull the psyche. Is self-realization important? Without it, you will be consumed by desires and fears, repeating themselves meaninglessly in endless suffering. Most of the people do not know that there can be an end to pain. But once they have heard the good news, obviously going beyond all strife and struggle is the most urgent task that can be. You know that you can be free, and now it's up to you. Either you remain forever hungry and thirsty, longing, searching, grabbing, holding, ever losing and sorrowing, or go out wholeheartedly in search of the state of timeless perfection, to which nothing can be added, from which nothing taken away. In it, all desires and fears are absent, not because they were given up, but because they have lost their meaning. Well, so far I've been following you. Now, what am I expected to do? There is nothing to do. Just be. Do nothing. Be. No climbing mountains and sitting in caves. I do not even say be yourself, since you do not know yourself. Just be. Having seen that you are neither the outer world of perceivables nor the inner world of thinkables, that you are neither body nor mind. Just be. Well, I am physically and mentally at peace. What more do I need? Well, yours may not be the ultimate state. You will recognize that you have returned to your natural state. That's the ultimate state, by a complete absence of all desire and fear. After all, at the root of all desire and fear is the feeling of not being what you are. Just as a dislocated joint pains only as long as it's out of shape and is forgotten as soon as it is set right, so is all self-concern a symptom of mental distortion, which disappears as soon as one is in the normal state. And to him, the normal state is the state of the absolute, where there is no longer a me, and therefore there is no longer any desire or fear. Yes, the questioner says, but what's the practice for achieving this natural state? Hold on to the sense I am, to the exclusion of everything else. Hold on to the sense, not the thought I am, the sense I am. When thus the mind becomes completely silent, it shines with a new light and reverberates with new knowledge. It all comes spontaneously. You need only to hold on to the I am. Well, the questioner says, how can I just be? Changes are inevitable. Maharaj, changes are inevitable in the changeful, but you are not subject to them. You are the changeless background against which changes are perceived. Well, but everything changes. The background also changes. There is no need of a changeless background to notice changes. The self, the me, is momentary. It is merely the point where the past meets the future. Maharaj, of course, the self, the me, based on memory, is momentary. But such a self demands unbroken continuity behind it. You know from experience that there are gaps when your self is forgotten. What brings it back to life? What wakes you up in the morning? There must be some constant factor bridging the gaps in consciousness. If you watch carefully, you will find that even your daily consciousness is in flashes, with gaps intervening all the time. What is in the gaps? What can there be but your real being? That is timeless. Mind and mindlessness are one to it. Well, is there any particular place you would advise me to go for spiritual attainment? The only proper place is within. The outer world neither can help nor hinder. No system, no pattern of action will take you to your goal. Give up all working for a future goal. Concentrate totally on the now. Be concerned only with your response to every movement of life as it happens. You know, that's an important way of watching the mind and how it works, is by watching your responses to what's happening, to every, as he says, to every movement of life as it happens. Okay, we're almost done. What is the cause of this urge to roam about? There is no cause. You merely dream that you roam about. In a few years, your stay in India will appear as a dream to you. You will dream some other dream at that time. Do realize that it is not you who moves from dream to dream, but the dreams flow before you, and you are the immutable witness. No happening affects your real being. This is the absolute truth. Last paragraph. Is not the unreal the expression of the real? How can it be? It's like saying that truth expresses itself in dreams. To the real, the unreal is not. It appears to be real only because you believe in it. Doubt it, and it ceases. When you are in love with someone, you give it reality. You imagine your love to be all-powerful and everlasting. When it comes to an end, you say, I thought it was real, but it wasn't. Transiency is the best proof of unreality. Transiency is the best proof of unreality. What is limited in time and space and applicable to one person only is not real. The real is for all and forever. Above everything else, you cherish yourself. You would accept nothing in exchange for your existence. The desire to be is the strongest of all desires and will go only on the realization of your true nature. So he gave a lot of steps here.
What was the title of this chapter?
Transiency is proof of unreality.
Yes.
That which changes, that
Sure.
which keeps moving, he says, is the proof of unreality because it can only appear on a background that is immovable, that doesn't change.
Mhm.
And he's saying, you are that background, not you, the ego, the me, the separate self, but you, the one consciousness, the one awareness, which you are not separate from.
So what was the pointer he gave about staying in the moment? I think you just read it through.
Okay, so let me see if I can find it. Okay. He says, the only proper place, when the guy says to him, is there any place that you advise me to go to get spiritual enlightenment? The only proper place is within. The outer world can neither help nor hinder. No system, no pattern of action will take you to your goal. Give up all working for a future, a goal, that will happen in the future.
Mhm.
Concentrate totally on the now. Be concerned only with your response to every movement of life as it happens. So
This
yeah.
dialogue was
Mhm.
was with a guy who's been traveling from ashram to ashram,
Yes,
looking to get the formula.
right,
Right.
right,
Right.
right.
That was a good,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So,
Because that's why he said, where shall I go?
right. Where do I go
Next.
now?
Yeah.
Who do I go to next?
Mhm.
And he's saying it's within, and if we're able to, when life presents us with something, if we're able to see our response to that, then we begin to see how the mind is working, because what is in that response? It's usually the me, the ego that's responding. And that's why he said, concentrate on the now. What is happening now? Because when we respond with this me, we're responding from the past, our past conditioning, our past experiences, our past interprets for us what we're seeing now. But if we could erase that and just be fully present in the now moment, almost as if what's happening has never happened before and is brand new, there's a different clarity. Oh, there's a problem with the sound.
Not with me.
Okay,
Okay,
we thought we
good.
heard some background.
Yeah, yeah.
So the urge to roam that he talks about there, I take that as being that we forget who we are. We forget that we are consciousness, and we keep trying out all these different outfits, but really what we are is that sort of groundless background.
That's
So.
right. That's right. And I also think probably what he's saying here is that the urge to roam is really a major distraction, because it's hard to stay in the now.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for distractions, and roaming is one way.
Well, you can roam by going from country to country, or roam in your living room by being mind obsessed.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
By watching the parade in your mind.
Right. And getting on that train.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you're into your head and you're into chatter, you're roaming.
That's right.
I mean, there's physical roaming and then there's psychological roaming.
Right.
We might justify physical roaming perhaps a little bit more than psychological roaming, but I think a lot of this gets back with this guy that Nisargadatta is talking about. This guy doesn't know who he is.
Right.
That's right.
He doesn't know. He still hasn't dealt with the problem of who am I? And you can look at a guy and say, I am, I'm being, I am. But until you get right down to it and figure out, now, wait a minute, how the hell does this thing work? And more or less do a wheeler, a precursor to understanding Nisargadatta, so that you realize that the thing that's bothering you is something that's been put together since you were born. And it's a combination of the fact that you have a brain that can remember, and that creates a basket, which you can call consciousness, where the memory, where for your daily experiences are being recorded or are being put in memory with a twist. And that is that these experiences can be and often are polluted by the environment that they're experienced in. Depending on what part of the world you come from, hot can be bad and cold can be good, and vice versa. And you're conditioned. In other words, you're conditioned so that if you can get an understanding of how this process works and what the mind is. I mean, the mind is a place from where thoughts come from. Well, the thought is what? What is a thought? And a thought is something that's beyond, it's from the past. It's from an experience that's being remembered. So that when you get to a point that you get some kind of understanding of that, then you can do a little bit of Krishnamurti and maybe introduce the word of being choicelessly aware as you go through the day. Because when you start seeing yourself being critical of something, judging something, or being annoyed or something, at some point, I'm beginning to see that all of this stuff comes from me. It's not from the outside. The outside may trigger an experience, but then it's the interpretation of that experience that I bring up that is what's making me, a little bit crazy. And I'm learning that if I can let go of this experience, I don't have the upset.
Mhm. Well, that's the state,
And-
that's the staying that he's
Yep.
just describing,
What do you mean?
staying with the present.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But it's hard to
Be a light. in the
stay with
present.
the present if you don't know what the process, if you're not aware of what's going on. What, in other words, you try to stay with the present, but then you really want to do this or you really want to do that. Thoughts come up and interfere with other thoughts. And at some point, at a higher level, you get to the point where you can realize that the best place to be is with no thought at all. Because then you're present with what is,
Mhm.
and you're not interpreting what is. You're just letting the moment create the response, but you're not doing the response.
Yeah,
You know,
He's
what bus
encouraged-
comes at you.
yeah,
Pardon?
he's trying to encourage that kind of seeing, to see the thoughts as they arise and
Yeah.
not be swept away with them.
Yeah.
Thoughts, right? Thoughts arise. There's a witness to thinking.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
trying to
And we
help
don't
us.
have control. I think it's important to know that because I really do believe that we don't have control over our thoughts. They
Right.
they arise. We don't know why,
Mhm.
but we do know they do arise. So you
Right.
deal with them by depending on the thought, trying to not direct attention to it, not trying it not to be, the title of a story. And then you go into story, and then you're really messed up. And I'm great for doing that. I can get off and write all kinds of stories in my head.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. Um, well, he begins here when he talked about the mirror and the image. He's telling you, that's a pointer. He's telling you that you're really not the mind, nor are you the image that the mind has created. You are what sees or witnesses the mind and the image. And that's from our own experience. We know that. We're able to see, well, if we want to look, most people may not want to look, but if you really want to look, you can see the image that you've created about yourself. And you can certainly see how your mind is moving, how it responds to things. What are its fears, its desires, its envies? All that is the working of the mind, the me. So the fact that we can see the mind, the mirror, as he puts it, and the image means we are not either of that. You are not, he says this, whatever you may perceive, you are not what you perceive. See, we've identified who and what we are based on what we perceive. This body, this mind, these objects. And he's saying, well, actually, the body mind is an object as well. Why? Because you're able to see that. You can see. You cannot be that which you can see. That's what he's saying here. You cannot be that which you can see. Otherwise, how would you see it? So what is it that sees? What is it that knows? Thoughts and feelings and images and conditioning. What is it that sees and knows? That's what he's pointing to. And that's beyond the me and beyond the mind.
I mean, I just have one question about you cannot be what you perceive. I've always thought about if I go to a rock concert, for example, which I don't do much, but try to be the music, try to experience the music, just try to let it work on you, marinate you. And it seems like there's a bit of a conflict here in what he's saying about don't be what you are perceiving.
No.
Where am I going wrong in this?
You cannot be what you perceive. When you go to the concert and you hear that music,
Yeah.
you on and you're all you're really one with it.
There's no critique.
There's no saying I must listen to this music. There isn't even a saying I like it or I don't like it. At the moment you are consumed by it, taken over by it. There is no longer an observer and observed. There's only this one presence, right?
Right.
It's only when you split off from that and you start editorializing and giving comments about it, that's when the me is back in the picture. And if that happens, so that happens, but we just have to have an awareness of it. But at that moment, when you are the music is you. There is no you. There's only the what is in that moment, which is the music.
Right.
Yeah, the me stops, it turns off. I know
That's
exactly
right.
what he's talking about.
That's right.
You get when you are the music, and there's no thought, there's no thinking process.
Right.
It's just absorbing it. You're just there present with the music. That's it. And at
that's
some
right.
point, like you say, it stops. And then you think about it, oh boy, that was wonderful. Now it's the me coming back in now. Now the me is going to rate the experience.
Right.
And you know, this idea of self-awareness and seeing that happens, I think it really helps you understand other situations which are not pleasant and
Yeah.
which can be painful. And that's what's been helping me. This knowledge that the same way that the experience of the music and it's all absorbing when there's no me present, well, that if I can get that same situation when there's a bad experience, it won't be affecting me the way it does if I'm letting it be processed by the me.
Yes.
That's kind of hard to describe, but
Well, but even in an unpleasant situation, in the first moment, there is no me. You're fully absorbed in that situation. And then a second later, what comes in is fear or anger or resentment. And now the me is back working. What would happen
well,
if
I
we
start to get anxiety over trying to find a solution. And the
But-
solution is just don't think about it.
there's no solution. There's only the seeing. Remember, the seeing is the doing. By seeing that, you're pulling the plug on it. You don't have to react. And then if you're not reacting, clarity begins to set in. And somehow you know exactly what to do and how to handle that particular situation.
Yeah, it's a miracle how that stuff happens. I mean, and it happens almost every week to me at some point or another. You know, just recently I had a situation. I had some bugs in my bedroom that was biting me, and I wanted to buy some bug stuff, and I went to Lowe's to buy it, and they didn't have it. It was in the online, and I could see myself saying, I can really get upset over this. And but I said to myself, you know what? I talked to the guy and asked him how long it takes to order it, blah, 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 blah. And then I just, okay. I said, just across the street from me is Home Depot. Let me go try there. So I went there, and believe it or not, they had the product. And the situation more or less solved itself.
Yes.
And there was a little complication with that because I bought some of the stuff and some other things and paid for it on my way to the car. And I noticed that there's a mechanical spray that comes with these chemicals. It's a little pump and it's run by battery. It's very easy to apply when you have that. It's a wand, and it was missing on the package that I bought. So I had to go back. I said, now I can really get excited over this. I said, but I'm not. I'm just going to go and see what. I walked in, I talked to the guy. He said, oh, no, go right ahead. Go get another one. Don't worry about it. I couldn't believe it. I said, something's wrong. I'm not getting aggravated. I could really feel that thought going through. Something is not right here. This is going too easy. But that's the way life really is.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
it only gets tough when you deem it to be tough. You know,
Yes.
the bugs bite. They say, "Oh, what are you doing? Get rid of the bed." Well, can't you get rid of the bed? Get rid of the house. Move someplace. There are solutions. No, I mean, but you don't take those until they present themselves to be taken. But your mind creates the situation. Oh, I can't, I won't be able to get sleep,
Yes.
and this and that, and the other
Yes.
thing, and you create. I can get into storytelling that's just disgusting.
Well, you watch these guys in the Olympics do these high wire gymnastics on that pommel horse, going through all these routines.
Yep.
I'm not sure how much thought is going on when they're
No.
doing those routines and their body is flying through the air and twisting and turning and torquing like crazy. It's got to be at that point they're just instruments of
Yep.
gravity and like torque forces, and the more your mind is present, probably the more you're going to make an error.
That's why it takes years and years of repetition, doing the same thing over and over and
Right.
over again, so that when they take that first step, they more or less locked into the program, and then you can see it sometimes. I mean, I've been watching the Olympics, and sometimes like on the horse, I mean on a bar,
Yeah.
there'll be a misstep or something like that, and then she'll have a hell of a time getting back on track because it's taken her out of it. So the more disciplined ones can get back, but
Yeah.
even with the gymnastics where they're doing the tumbling and all of that, when they miss something,
Yeah.
they
Well,
miss
we'll
something.
go, it's like, so they're practicing for years and years and years to get the muscle memory and to be physically able to
Right.
do what they want to do. But it's also practicing years and years of mindfulness to be able to, have the mind completely check out and have
Yes.
the muscle,
Be fully
be
present.
fully present and let the body do its thing.
Yep. Yeah. Well, sure. I mean, it's one thing to be able to do all these things in a gym. It's quite another thing when you're doing it in front of an Olympic crowd in Paris with other activities going on while you're trying to do something, which I think when I look at it, I get annoyed in a sense that they have 3 or 4 different things going on at the same time, and there's cheering for different things going on. I would think that would be very disruptive.
Can you
But they
imagine
have to develop that.
Can you imagine them interviewing one of these gymnasts who's about to get on the bar or something like that? So tell me, how's your preparation going? And the guy says, well, I got my muscle memory down quiet. But I just can't seem to quiet my mind.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Well, so
But this was a wonderful passage. This guy traveling from ashram to ashram.
right.
And we were
He's
there.
been carrying what he's looking for in his own kit bag. He didn't realize.
Well,
Doesn't
well,
realize.
we were in Tirumanalu, where Ramana Maharshi's site is, the mountain, your
It's
uncle.
ashram.
Yes, ashram. And you go around, it's a small town, you go around, and on every other rooftop, there's a different guru holding forth with about 15 or 20 people, and some of them have 100 people in video screens, but they're all doing their thing, trying to get you to be able to step outside yourself and offering pointers.
Right.
And this guy is one of those guys that's been going around from ashram to ashram.
This question.
Yeah, the
yes,
questioner, right.
right.
Huh.
So I guess that's it for tonight.
Yeah, we're a
And-
small group.
Okay. And let's
Who's the dog with the butterfly? Is that you, Chip?
I think it is, but Chip's
Yeah,
having.
yeah,
Oh,
it is
okay.
me.
Oh,
Good,
now
good.
we
Hey, guys.
can hear you,
Hello,
Chip.
Chip.
Yeah,
Sorry, we
I
can't
know.
play.
Hey,
We
Chip.
have-
Sorry, we can't play.
Oh, there's
Sorry, we
Lady
can't.
Sophia.
Oh, hi,
Zyra.
Hi, Sophia. Hi, Ira. Hi,
Hi.
Hi,
Ugo.
guys.
Oh,
Chip,
Oh, it's so good seeing you.
we lost track of the time, so we came in late. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
that's what
Better
happens when
late
you're in the
than
moment all
never.
the time.
Oh, it's so good seeing both of you.
Good seeing you guys.
So,
Well, we were just about
we're
to say
just
goodnight.
about to end. Maybe we should end with this one paragraph. Most of the people do not know that there can be an end to pain. But once they have heard the good news, obviously going beyond all strife and struggle is the most important task that can be. You know that you can be free, and now it's up to you. Either you remain forever hungry and thirsty, longing, searching, grabbing, holding, ever losing and sorrowing, or go out wholeheartedly in search of the state of timeless perfection, to which nothing can be added, from which nothing taken away. In it, all desires and fears are absent, not because they were given up, but because they have lost their meaning. So there it is. We either hold on to this me, or we have the courage to begin to let it go by seeing how it works and hoping with that quiet mind we can get to recognize our true nature.
And is that what he says about the meaning like this that it holds?
And then he says, the only proper place is within. The outer world neither can help nor hinder. No system, no pattern of action will take you to your goal, the goal of self-realization. Giving up all working for that future goal. In the future, I'll get it. Concentrate totally on the now. Be concerned only with your response to every movement of life as it happens.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, we're gonna end on that.
okay, guys.
Okay.
See everybody
Everybody,
next week.
see you all.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you.